Welcome to another episode of Casual Cinephilia, where enthusiastic amateurs talk very passionately about movies. I'm Ian.
I'm Lorian, and today we are talking about Army of the Dead.
Yes, Zack Snyder's latest movie after the Justice League extended cut, I guess, was his last thing. But yeah, this was a Netflix-funded film, but it's also one of Netflix's first, if not the only one so far.
The first theatrical release Netflix has done.
Yeah, it had a full theatrical release, which is one of the few theatrical releases going on right now, actually. Yeah. Which is
for now.
Good for them.
They're coming out, though.
They're
starting up.
Which I am so excited for. But yeah, this had multiple, like, groundbreaking production things.
Sure.
Not necessarily movie things, but production in general. Oh my gosh, my dog is
We have the
nightmare.
dog here. If you hear horrifying chewing or scratching or other zombie noises in the background, is dog. Don't dig into the couch.
Maya? Yeah, that's what I thought. Her eyes like glazed over as she was digging into the couch. She was like, oh, you're lucky you're so cute, dog. Anyways, there were several groundbreaking things. One, Netflix giving this movie a theatrical release. And I know they've worked with other pretty prolific directors, but I think Zack Snyder is probably one of the biggest names they've had as a director.
And I think Zack Snyder knew it.
Yeah.
Because he did whatever the fuck he wanted. He wrote, directed, conceptualized. He was his own DP. Is he usually his own DP? Because he's one of those directors I could see that being the case, but I couldn't remember.
From what I understand is he has a DP, usually, but he's right there with them the entire time.
Sure.
But this one...
He's the credited DP in this.
DP. Yeah. So, I mean...
It felt a little bit like he was like, oh, you want Zack Snyder, do you? Zack Snyder want to do Zack Snyder now.
That and I honestly think this was he was so fed up with Warner Brothers just micromanaging every aspect of his superhero films that he just wanted to make something.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter who it was with.
Sure.
And Netflix just happened to front the paycheck.
Right.
You know, this was from, I bet you it didn't matter who it was with, what production studio it was with. It was going to be a Zack Snyder movie.
Right.
Like, he was going to make whatever the hell he wanted with as much creative license as he could get.
Right. And they gave it all to him. Netflix was like, yes, okay.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder all over us, please.
Oh, that's an image.
So is this movie at times.
Yeah, but
it's not a bad movie, to clarify. We haven't given it any value statement yet.
No.
This was a fun movie.
This was a very fun movie. This is a very fun zombie movie.
Yes.
Spoilers to the entire movie.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you've watched any zombie movie, sans maybe the quote-unquote parody like Shaun of the Dead.
Sure.
In most of them, including Zack Snyder's previous forays into the zombie world, very few, if any, people survive.
Yeah.
And the main cast all dies.
Yeah.
Literally. Like, one character
sort of
kind of
lives.
survives, and another insinuates that he's going to die. Like, it just no one survives this.
Yes.
And that's okay, because you don't go into these movies expecting a heroic,
right?
Well, not heroic, but a uplifting, happy ending. You go in this to watch zombies fuck shit up.
Yeah.
And you hope to see some really exciting, creative ways for zombies and people to die.
Sure.
And this delivers that in spades,
Yes,
I think.
It does. isn't without its writing issues.
Oh, definitely.
But if you're willing to turn your brain off, what you doing?
Papa dog.
Papa dog. If you're willing to turn your brain off and kind of like ignore many plot points, the plot points are kind of useless.
Yeah.
They throw a lot of plot points at you that could have things to build off of, but they never build off of any of them.
In fact, they build something up so brilliantly to have it go absolutely nowhere. Like the zombie chieftain. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if you remember this, but there's a plot line that there is a pregnant zombie.
A pregnant zombie. And they it's like a, if you're paying attention, it's a big deal. And it hints at a much larger storyline because this zombie fetus is pulled out of the dead zombie's uterus, and it's this glowing blue fetus. And throughout the film, there have been random-ass glowing blue eye zombies in the background, and there will continue to be for the rest of the film, but there is absolutely no explanation for any of that shit.
Yeah.
That's all.
None.
Just,
Zero.
Hey guys, this is a thing. Wish you knew about it? Too bad!
Yeah. No, it's one of those things where it's absolutely brilliant and incredibly frustrating world building.
Right, I was like, but...
Because I am now absolutely intrigued and incredibly, frustrated.
Yeah,
now
but there was a story, and you didn't tell it.
Yeah.
You just, showed us the cover of a book, and then put it back on the shelf. And that's kind of how every plot line in this is.
Yeah. No, yeah. Truly, though. Truly. But you don't go into zombie movies for the plot.
No,
I think that's what's so frustrating about it, is because there was these hints of phenomenal plot lines.
Well,
where it's like,
for
is
example,
this where it's going?
The zombies in this were created by the U.S. military.
Yeah.
Also, this team of military people who have gone into the zone to do this quest heist mission, they have a military background. It is heavily implied that at least the main team have a military background. Mm-hmm. This main zombie, who they do kill in the end, has dog tags on the whole time. And I just couldn't... I just was like, somebody grab the fucking dog tags and make someone answer for this crime against humanity. This poor fucking man was turned into a zombie and no one's even going to grab his name? No one even wants to know that much?
Yeah.
Come on, movie.
Seriously, though.
It was just every time they swooshed past a character, I was like, just reach out. They're meant to be broken off.
Yep.
Just grab the tag. For fuck's sake.
Oh, man. And talk about great character design. That zombie, they make a joke of it. It's like, did that zombie have a cape on?
Right.
But, talk about intimidating. Because he's a zombie, right? So you get that, intimidating stature of a zombie. But he stands up straight. Mm-hmm. He doesn't hunch. He doesn't do the undead haunch. Mm-hmm. He has a pseudo cape, and he has a bulletproof face mask that he wears.
Well, they did a lot of...
It's so cool.
This is the level of storytelling that this movie achieves. They did a lot of storytelling with that character through his subtle choices.
Yeah.
You see him standing on the hill. You can see him thinking. Mm-hmm. You see him approach the statue of the caped, helmeted... I don't remember, the Olympus, or one of the big hotels.
Olympian,
yeah. You see him thinking, and then he starts wearing that, you can...
Yeah.
They present through his subtle physicality that this is not what the rest of the zombies are in the movie. And actually, they did, I looked up both he and the Alpha Queen, because she's clearly a dancer. When you watch that movie, you're like, they hired a dancer for this role.
Right, yeah.
Just on how she moves, and they did. And I found her resume, and Jesus Christ, she is amazing.
Really?
I love her. I mean, she's studied every kind of martial art, every kind of dance. Both of these actors are stunt people, primarily, who they hired for these primarily physical roles, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Stunt people don't usually get a lot of the face time, so it's nice to see some primarily stunt actors hired to play the faces of the roles they're going to be performing the stunts for also.
Yeah.
Which is why I looked her up, because she's standing on the car and does that, like, lunge dive, the superhero pose landing, and I was like, oh, that's, like, I don't know if y'all have ever tried to move in a dramatic way before, but landing in a superhero pose is just about one of the most dangerous things for your knees and spine that you can do if you don't know what you're doing. So, like, jumping off of a car and just landing like that, I was like, who is she?
Yeah.
It turns out that's her job.
She was
And I was really impressed by both of them, and really impressed by the choice to cast stunt actors as the primary actors for those roles.
Yeah. Well, I think the casting...
He's awesome too, but
yeah,
she was more awesome.
he was awesome in his subtlety. She was awesome in her overtness. Just her, like, there's moments where she's right up on people, and those, like, it was, like, microfacial expressions that she would have where you could tell what she was thinking, what she was trying to convey, but also trying to understand what they were trying to convey to her. And, like, you could see it all going on, and then you also had that, like, hint of savagery of a zombie. Like, it was all, like, encased into zombie motions, and it was just really delicate, but also you could tell she could rip your face off at any second.
Yeah.
It was really impressive.
So, shout out to those two. Her name is Athena Parample? And I don't know what his name is, because the only way I could get his info, okay, this is going to be creepy, but I didn't mean to do it. When you search for him and try and find his stunt background, the only link you can click just downloads his resume.
That's kind of
so
creepy.
I have his resume on my phone right now. But his name isn't linked on it.
Is it Zeus?
No. It's Alpha King or something.
Who is Zeus?
I don't remember. But it's
no,
like...
that's Zeus.
Is it? Okay. Well, there's, like, way further down, there's a bunch of her listing. I don't know. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, then. but it was just like... IMDb's not well laid out for non-named roles.
Yeah.
It's a lot to try and find them. But... Anyway, shout out to those two actors for doing their jobs well.
No, they did a
being
great
awesome.
Job. And earlier we talked about groundbreaking things. And
yes,
I think the biggest groundbreaking thing I have ever seen was the removal of an actor and the insertion of another actor to cover them, and they did it really well.
Yeah.
Like, there were maybe one or two scenes where it's like, oh, this is a little weird. And
the first scene had some shoddy sync for the actors who had to redub their dialogue.
Yeah. And there was one scene where the oh, God, I hope you can't hear the dog just panting into the microphone.
It's 104 outside. You can pant if you want to.
That's fair. But there was one scene where the lighting didn't match off quite with the surrounding.
Sure.
But then the other 90%, maybe 85%, if I wouldn't have known, I wouldn't have known.
Yeah. No, same.
And it just blows me away. And this one thing means that could save production studios millions of dollars on reshoots.
Sure.
If there's one thing that went wrong, they could just digitally insert something into it. And that's crazy.
We've been delving into this territory for a while. I mean, Wonder Woman was pregnant for most of the first
Yeah.
movie, and they digitally inserted her abdomen. Which, what?
That is a solid point.
But I was impressed with Tig Notaro's acting.
Yeah.
Like, she's alone on a soundstage for all her stuff.
Yeah. No, I think, one, it's so impressive production-wise.
Yeah.
But two, that Tig Notaro's acting felt like she was there. Mm-hmm. Like, if her acting felt like she was on a soundstage, it wouldn't have sold any of it. It could look as good as it wants. It would not have felt right.
Yeah.
But because of her stellar performance, it worked. And it's just, I don't know. That is so crazy to me that they literally digitally removed an actor and replaced them without having
Must
to do
have been
a single
trip
reshoot.
to watch back. I mean, more than regular.
Right?
I wasn't talking to that person. How am I talking to that person?
Who is this person?
It was a little jarring how many of the shots with her. The dog has now removed an entire cushion from the couch.
Oh my god.
And is exploring.
This dog is a nightmare.
It was a little telling how many of her shots were, her face, their face, her face, their face.
There was a lot of reverse shots on it. But then there weren't.
Yeah.
Where, like, she's just standing in the group shot. And you're just like, oh yeah, she's part of the crew.
Yeah. And if you know what you're watching for, she's always in the front or the back of the crew.
Yeah.
But that's still impressive. Yeah. That's still a lot of work.
Yeah.
I do wonder how much it cost to do that, to replace Are you just getting up to my mic level to breathe into it? Why are you doing that? Don't lick my armpit, you little
She wants
monster.
to be part of the podcast. What a good dog.
You little monster. Do you have something to say about Army of the Dead?
She watched it with me. She was terrified.
Did you like the tiger?
The zombie tiger terrified her. She barked at my screen. No joke.
Zombie tiger was terrifying.
It genuinely was. And I am so glad that was what killed the
doctor
bad guy.
from the Mindy Project.
Yes. And by the way, speaking of bad plot lines or just not bad plot lines, but just convoluted. Mm-hmm. Why did the casino owner send a whole team in to get the money if all he wanted was the head?
Yeah, it feels like it would have been easier to just send the one dude in with the coyote and get the head.
Yeah, because it was just those two that ended up getting the head. So why do this whole facade?
Right. Maybe if they had structured it to where all the zombies came out the first time to receive the offering, then it would have made sense. But the first encounter was the same as the encounter that they decapitated her in. And so it wasn't necessary.
No, it I don't know. That part was just kind of that didn't make sense.
Yeah, the plot lines weren't the strongest in this movie, but it delivered on its promise, which is Vegas zombies.
Yep. And
Vegas zombies are what you want, you're getting them.
And it did a good job of character building, too, I thought.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I love Dave Bautista.
Yeah,
but,
me too.
Like, his character through it, I enjoyed his character, but I loved his just constant musings over what his food truck was going to sell.
Sure.
And, like, his dying words were, like, crab rolls. Like, we're going to sell crab rolls.
Lobster rolls.
Lobster rolls, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. The other sea creature.
Yeah.
But, like...
the one that actually has a roll.
Yeah. If there's one thing that I would have liked, if there was just I know this was a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
So adding a small
2.5.
epilogue was probably not the
And it
easiest
kind of
thing to
felt
do.
like the final bit of story was an epilogue.
Sorta. But I wish there would have been, like, just a little snippet of his daughter
Yeah.
in a food truck
Right.
selling lobster rolls.
Yeah.
You know,
Would've-
like...
That's the epilogue we deserved, not
Right?
the one we got. So there's the character gets locked in the bank vault. Fine. I will buy that. I'll allow my suspension of disbelief to Twilight Zone me back to Henry Bemis and allow him to survive in a bank vault through a direct nuke hit.
They did...
Fine.
They did make the point that it was a super low-yield nuclear device.
Yes, they did. Good job.
So
I'll buy that. That is allowable. However...
It was a very awkward, like, super low-yield nuclear device. And you're like... Okay, that was said for a reason.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, noted.
But then he crawls out into what is now a freshly and strongly irradiated zone, casually walks out of it with no problem. So even if he hadn't been bitten, which he seems genuinely surprised by, which is like, no,
Yeah.
you notice when a human bites you hard enough to break the skin. Even if he hadn't been bitten, he would have still, like, hope you can spend that money fast, bro. You're dying of cancer within the month or two.
That was the direction I thought they were going to go.
Me too.
Was like...
I was, like, watching him come up through the hatch, and I was just like, cancer.
Yeah, well, like, when he, like, almost fainted in
Radiation
the plane.
poisoning. Maybe he'll just pass out on the border, and all the money will fall and blow away. You know, like, I was like...
That's what I was thinking. It's like, when he almost faints in the plane... And he goes into the bathroom. I was expecting him to, like,
vomit
spit
blood,
up
right?
or something, and be, like, dying of radiation poisoning. And it's like,
I was
that
kind of
bittersweet
bored by
of,
the
like,
thin thread of sequel that they introduced
Yeah.
instead.
like,
I would have rather had him die of cancer than have been bitten. And he did... I mean, you could read it a lot of ways. To me, it felt like he was just gonna kill himself.
yeah.
But... the fact remains that it's a thin thread that could be sequel grabbed if the movie does well enough. And I don't know.
Speaking
That's
of
a
that
little
character, though, the
bummery.
whole scene where they're trying to set off the booby traps in the vault, I was laughing my ass off the entire
Yeah,
time.
it
Where he
was
just
good.
kept going back up
Microwaves
the
the
elevator and grabbing him.
hand.
That was such a small little bit of world building where he's just like, hey, it's not the
It's not
living
the
or dead,
heartbeat,
it's about
the
heat.
temperature. Yeah. Speaking of which, the way that they determine the quarantine zone here, the temperature off, you're stuck dying. I run over a temperature low naturally.
Yeah.
So just like and that I'm not unusual in this. There's a whole lot of us that are just fucked right away, dead. I was like, oh no,
oh no, you were born a zombie.
I guess so.
That also was a very subtle. There was so much subtlety in this for how
For what it
overtly
was, yeah.
bonkers it was.
Yeah.
But the asshole guard dude, there's a point where he does the temperature and he says, "Oh, you dropped a half a degree. If you drop another half, we're going to have to quarantine you."
Yeah.
And if you look at the actual temperature, she's 101. So she's actually a higher temperature. He was just being an ass.
Right.
And it's just like...
Well, he was Mr. Abuse of Power.
Oh, yeah.
That was his character.
No, totally. But they never, like, focus in on it. They never zoom in on it. They never make him be like, ooh, I'm going to screw this girl. Like, you actually have to pay attention to it.
Right.
At that time, I was like, oh. Like when I first, like, heard it, it's like, oh, is she actually? And then I looked at it. It was like... Oh, he's just a miserable
Oh no, he's
person.
just bad.
Yeah, he's a bad man.
Bad man.
Yeah. This was a good movie.
You know, it wasn't bad.
Yeah. It was a good bad movie.
Yeah.
You know?
It was a good, but it's not going to be the top of my list when I want to watch a zombie film.
No, yeah.
But it does have its enjoyable moments. Mm-hmm. It's got some fun. I liked the heists through zombies premise. That's fun. I kind of wish it were a little more straightforward, strangely.
Yeah.
You know, like, I wish that we could just erase... Sorry if my audio went insane. The dog is trying to eat me gently. She's just trying to bite my arm off very casually and slowly.
She's a very courteous zombie.
Yes. I wish that we had lost the, like, we need to steal the zombies. They're a weapon of mass destruction. You know, like that plot line, and just had it be an honest to God, this millionaire wants his millions on it. You know, they've been paid off. He wants more money.
Yeah.
Just like straight plot. Just just a heist.
You could even keep the evil henchman of like his job is to kill them once. Like,
right, rent the money is there.
Once they get the money secured, his job is to kill them so that they don't have to pay him $50 million.
Yeah.
Like, that would have worked
that works.
for me.
I thought, so I just wish it were a little more straightforward. This is what it is what it is.
Also, there is a zombie robot in this movie.
Yeah, the blue eye things.
They're...
The ones that the blue eyes, when they got partially exploded, had like a metallic sheen under them.
Yeah. And I have no clue what
So what's that tied to the blue glowy fetus? There was an entire other plot here that they thought of writing, that they were like, let's just leave little sprinkles of it.
Yeah.
That they just... Fuck anyone who notices. This is going to be infuriating.
Are you
trying to eat the cushion?
What is she doing?
Trying to eat the Velcro off the cushion.
Oh my god. You monster. She is the worst.
She's a puppy.
Anyways. I loved this movie.
Yeah, it was fun.
For just the primal, like my monkey brain through this whole movie was just like, you know, as zombies were just getting mauled and mutilated and people were getting killed in creative ways. Again, it's the writing, but I think, what was her name? Chambers? The first girl to die.
Sure.
Who died epically,
yes.
By the way. Had very much an easy span of time where she could have just said, he did this to me!
Yeah, I know, right? There were several things where I was like, do the thing, okay.
Yeah.
Not gonna do the thing. There was also, I mean, like, come on, I get it's Las Vegas. I know Nevada is hot, but Jesus Christ, were there a lot of bare arms for going into zombie territory?
Yeah.
I mean, like, why? So, I want to see Dave Bautista's arms as much as anyone else, but it doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah. It's like planning a zombie heist 101 that you at least wear canvas over your limbs.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Train to Busan?
No.
It's a South Korean zombie movie set on a bullet train.
Okay.
It's phenomenal. But there's literally a point where they have to get through a train car full of zombies. Mm-hmm. And one of the guys is like, all right, I'm going to lead the way. Everyone's like, what? And he just sits down and he pulls out a thing of duct tape and
you layer up. You get yourself armored.
And he starts duct taping magazines to his forearms, and he duct tapes magazines to his neck, and just all the places where zombies normally bite. Yes. And he literally just goes in and just starts flailing his arms around, knocking, and he forges a path through this zombie-infested train car. And you're just like, thank you.
Of course. It's
like, thank you.
Haven't the designers on this read the Zombie Survival Handbook? I mean, Max Brooks has already done the work for you.
All of the research already.
It's so easy to put your characters in sleeves. Tig Notaro's wearing a canvas jumpsuit.
Yep.
A Dickies coverall is better than a tank top, Dave Bautista.
But damn, does Dave Bautista have good arms.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
He does.
Damn.
It's just a shame he had to be bitten in them because he needed to show them off.
Oh, man. Yeah. So let this be a lesson to everyone. When the zombie apocalypse eventually happens,
layer up.
Layer up. I don't care if it's 102 outside. You'd rather get a heat stroke than a stroke from a zombie.
I mean, you know, weigh your specific scenario.
Oh, man. Yeah, I liked all the characters in this. I really liked the relationship evolution between Dieter, the safecracker, and what's his name? I don't remember, but the guy who ends up the survivor,
Vanderho.
Vanderho, thank you. Vanderho.
Yeah.
Vanderho, yeah. But it's like
That one.
That one. Their relationship from the beginning to the end, where Dieter literally has a moment of heroicism.
Yeah.
And saves him, sacrificing himself. You're just
saves him being...
I mean, he survived.
He survived.
Quote, end quote. He survived.
Yeah.
An extra 5 minutes. Did I just hear?
I heard a tear and I don't know what she's eating.
Oh, it's a bone.
She's ripping bits.
She's ripping a bone apart. God.
Good job.
Nothing is safe in this household. But yeah, the evolution of their relationship is phenomenal, and I loved it. And just the moment where, like, he's the safecracker, Dieter, screws up the second time when Dave Bautista's character, Scott, comes down and speaks loudly.
Yeah.
And he just goes on that entire tirade. It was brilliant. I loved that tirade.
Yep. It made sense.
Yeah. No, totally.
It's always the one that's quiet and weird, but has a specialty that is quiet and weird until you step on their shit, and then they will tell you how it is.
Oh, man. The parody of the news was hilarious, too. Mm-hmm. Of the newscaster quoting the president of, detonating a nuclear bomb, some said was unpatriotic. Well, I disagree, but... so good. I loved it. I can't recommend this movie enough. If you just want to turn your brain off and watch zombies.
Yeah, if you like zombie movies, this is a zombie movie to watch.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix, too, so...
Easy peasy. Which is a joke in that movie that I... Tig's like, well, I mean, he is Japanese, so I don't know.
Does not say Japanese.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not going to say it. And then everyone looks at her like, what the fuck?
Which, by the way, if you thought that joke was funny, watch Tig Notaro's stand-up. That is the deadpan, straight delivery of all of her comedy. She is one of my favorite comedians.
So does she have, like, specials?
Yeah.
Are they on Netflix? Or?
I think so. I think there are some on Netflix, yeah.
Okay, I'll have to look them up, because she had me cracking up
great.
for this movie.
She also has an Amazon Prime show called One Mississippi.
One Mississippi.
It's a little heavier.
Got it.
It's not as straight comedy as her usual comedy stuff, but
gotcha.
It is still funny. If you're trying to find more Tig Notaro.
Gotcha. No, this is actually my first exposure to Tig Notaro, and I'm sold. I'm going to watch
she's
more
great.
of her stuff, because she was great in this movie. Mm-hmm. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up?
There are puppeteers credited in the end of this.
Really?
Do you think it's maybe like the tiger and horse stand-ins? Do you think they had something puppeteering for that?
When it wasn't galloping, looked practical.
Yeah, it looked like a puppet to me. It looked like one of the war horse puppets. I'm sorry. Google the West End production of War Horse. There was a stage production of that show with really incredible horse puppets.
Gotcha.
Talk about a reference no one's gonna get, Lorian. I have niche interests. Seemed obvious to me.
So my thought is that, yes, on the horse. I don't know on the tiger.
Sure.
Because there wasn't any moment of the tiger where it looked practical.
Yeah.
It always looked CG to me.
Yeah.
But I also want to say yes on some of the zombies. Because there were some zombie kills that looked very practical.
Okay.
And they were like full decapitation. Oh, and the head. The decapitated head.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Had to be puppeteered.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that was definitely practical.
Right.
Nothing about that looked CG, and she had full facial movement and all that.
There you go.
So I bet you the head and the horse are the main puppeteering.
Nice. And then there's dog and wolf wranglers credited. Do you remember any dogs or wolves? Or did they get cut?
They might have gotten cut.
Because I just could not remember any dogs or wolves.
No, I don't remember dogs or wolves in it.
Well, they shot with dogs and wolves at one point.
There you go. Goodness gracious. Yeah.
So it was fun. Yeah, I had a good time.
The only thing that I want to say to end this is don't drive distracted. Because it can cause a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, seriously, if there's one moral to take from this, it's Jesus Christ, wait till you get to the hotel.
Don't text to drive. Don't get distracted. Drive.
Come on, people.
I don't care if it's out in the middle of a straight lane desert highway. You're going to cause a zombie apocalypse, man. Okay. So, do we want to talk about what our next movie is?
Yes, I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Our next movie is In the Heights.
Which I have been excited for over a year, because it was supposed to come out last summer.
Yep.
And I love the casting. I love the writing. The trailer has amazing music. I am so looking forward to this.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And I'm glad, though, as much as it was painful to wait a year.
Sure.
I'm so glad. Goodness. I'm so glad that they waited till summer to release it, because this feels like such a good summer feeling flick.
Which was... They were not going to release this for a Christmas release. They specifically were like, nah, summer film. We'll wait.
No, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
It's going to be great. So do we want to thank our patrons?
Yeah, thank you, Jenny, Jake, Pam, and Graham.
Jenny, Jake, Pam, and Graham, thank you so much. You guys help keep this thing rolling. Literally. So again, thank you so much. And with that, this has been another episode of Casual Cinephilia. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.